Okay, I'm EK, and today I will talk about how Stacker News went from a custodial wallet to attached wallets to be non-custodial over the course of 2024. So it's been about around like 1.5 years since we started. Okay, next. All right, I have 4 chapters, you could say. First is about why even go non-custodial. It's mostly about legal stuff. And then I will compare how it is now to how it was before. And then I will mostly talk about user experience, because that was where most of the challenges were. At the end, I will mention some specific challenges, also remaining challenges. Okay, so why even go non-custodial? It basically started with Kian, the founder of Stacker News, giving a talk when we were still custodial at the end of 2023. And he mentioned, we're not quite sure if what we're doing is not breaking the law. And someone from the audience pulled him aside who used to run an exchange and said he's quite sure. So we talked to our lawyers, and they also advised us to consider not going non-custodial. And shortly after that, other services pulled out of the US, like Wallet of Satoshi, stopped serving US customers. Samurai devs got prosecuted for the unlicensed money transmitting offenses. So that was April last year. Phoenix pulled out. And also, even if you have a license from the state, like in this case, New York's BIT license, Coinbase has it since 2017, if I read this correctly on the slide. But they still cannot serve New York citizens. So basically, the deal is you would pay a lot of money, spend a lot of time for the privilege to store, ask or store for personally identifiable information, which will end up getting leaked at some point. Also like to monitor the transactions to report suspicious activity. So it doesn't sound like a good deal. So the other alternative is to have like soft QIC, to like use someone else's license or custodial wallet. And yes, but the difference is basically that they don't immediately verify the information, but in case they want to look more, then they can still deactivate your account. So we didn't want to do this, but realized, like our lawyers advised, that we still have to, the Office of Foreign Asset Control, they have their own sanctions, and they're pretty clear who has to comply. Basically everyone who has anything to do with the US. So we had it basically to add a function that apparently makes America more secure by checking from which IP address the request comes from. And yeah, some didn't like that, but that's okay. We had to like follow the advice of lawyers. So the next chapter is comparing the architectures before and after. So before, it's pretty easy to explain. Every zap was just a database transaction. So you just deduct the balance of one user and increase the balance of the other user in like one transaction. So only if you wanted to deposit or withdraw sats, then that was a Lightning transaction. That meant basically our Lightning node could go down and most of the site would still continue to work. So it's also like a question, is that a Lightning app if you don't even need the Lightning node most of the times? So when we then switched to non-custodial, that meant almost every payment is over Lightning, while only almost, I will explain this later. That also meant now, since everything goes over the Lightning Network, if the sender does not have a direct channel to Stacker News, then there will be some hop in between who will charge fees. So there are fees involved. And these zaps, so every zap goes through our node, so we can confirm the payment. And also, we'll also go more into detail later. And yeah, this zap needs to be forwarded to the actual receiver, which also incurs fees. And yeah, the important part is how can we forward this payment without taking custody, because that is the whole point. So I want to show you something we looked into first. So LM-Proxy is a website, or actually a proxy, but they have a website that I want to quickly show how it works, because that is basic idea of what we are doing. So for example, if you create an invoice, so this works, okay, cool. Oh, it's also quick. And if you put that into LM-Proxy, it will wrap the invoice as it mentions here, and I will explain what it does. So basically, this is the invoice I just gave it from Stacker News. And it mentions here payment hashes match, which is this bold part here and here. And that means LM-Proxy cannot claim the payment without paying the receiver, because it does not know the pre-image. And it proxied the destination, which is this last part here. This is like the signature and the public key of the node who created, or who is gonna get paid. And yeah, the description, I didn't change the description. Usually this is used for privacy, like if you have a custodial wallet and you want to pay something, you don't necessarily want to tell them what you're paying, then you can use LM-Proxy to wrap the invoice, then the custodial wallet will only see you paid LM-Proxy. But in that case, you should probably change the description, because in this case, the description literally tells what you're paying for. So this is basically the idea behind what we're also doing. We didn't use LM-Proxy because we want to integrate it deeper into our code. Okay, that was the demo. And it would be nice if that was the end. We just do this, and I can tell you we have lived happily ever after. But this is not the end. Because how to make it feel like custodial. Because if we would just use LM-Proxy, do nothing else, we would basically just give users QR codes all the time for everything they do. And these QR codes are not good user experience, because first of all, if your Lightning wallet is mobile and you use the site on desktop, you have to like interact with another object to pay a Lightning invoice. And everything about the QR code can be slow, like creating it from the receiver, wrapping it, but I will also like to go more into that later. But basically what I want to say is you're just looking at the QR code getting paid, you can do nothing else while that happens. And in the end, it might even just fail. And then you're like, okay, why did I wait maybe a few minutes even? So our idea to solve this was to make all of that happen in the background. That meant the client needs to be able to pay invoices without showing the user our QR code. So this is how it's currently, the latest version of the wallets. And you can basically like click on the wallet you have and then configure it, but I will also show it later more. So, oh yeah, I will show it right now actually. I will sign up as a new account, create that new master key. Oh. Hard to control the mouse. And now I want to attach a wallet to not get a QR code. And not bitcoindev. Coinos. Okay, new Coinos account. Yes, maybe I should have brought a USB mouse. And I'm creating new Nostr connection. Oh, it actually already has one by default. So copy this to Stacker News. Then we will test by trying to fetch the info event. Then we saw the lightning address included in the Nostr connection, Nostr wallet connection. We can also test that. Does it create invoice? And these are some settings. You can just use the defaults. And now I don't have a balance, but I can still try to zap. And it will try in the background to pay it. But that will not work because, yes, now it noticed don't have enough balance, so it reverted. And you will get a notification later about it because we are also retrying in the background. But yes, now I will now put some balance in there. Okay, we'll just pay it. I hope this. Okay, it's paid. And now I should have 1,000 sets. It's cool. Now I can also maybe show you in the console. I will show you actually the wallet logs. So I'm gonna pay some stuff. So that now that's the payment in the background. And we can see if we're interested that it's sending payments. But in this case, CoinOS sometimes does not return the pre-image, but we know, our backend knows that it's paid. And here the first payment I tried, yes, it told me, yeah, I don't have enough funds. Okay, that was the demo. No. So as you saw, the payments are optimistic, so we first assume it's gonna succeed. And if it doesn't, then it will undo the UI changes. We also retry the payments in the background. And if we, after 3 times, we still couldn't pay, then we will tell them in the notifications. So the idea is this should feel like Custodial. Yeah, okay, as I mentioned, 3 times attempted in the background. You can also attach multiple wallets, so you're not limited to one wallet. So if one of them fails, maybe the other one still works. Same is the case for the receiver. So basically, to have good retries, we actually need to know who failed to like try the next wallet. And in all these attempts, it's very important to never use a Lightning invoice. Even if the wallet said, oh, I couldn't pay, then we still cancel that. We can do that because we wrap all the invoices, so we basically have full control over the invoice that we give to the sender, so we can always cancel it. Yes, so here's a quick or a better description how it works when you zap on Stacker News. So if a user decides to zap someone, they tell us how much they want to zap. So our backend then fetches an invoice from the receiver that has a slightly lower amount. In this case, 70%. It gives an invoice for that amount. We also make sure that is the case because some wallets just round up or round down. And yeah, if they round up, then we would overpay. But we also check other stuff like, does the invoice not expire too soon? And do we still have enough time to claim the payment on-chain if something happens? So this is what we do during wrapping, all these checks. And we're using the payment hash like I showed in the LM proxy demo. Then we give the sender the invoice for the amount they requested. So we added our fee, like a Sybil fee, because we don't know if the sender is maybe paying themselves, and that would mess with our ranking. So there are multiple reasons why there is this fee in there, and Sybil resistance is one of them. So the sender can now pay the invoice. If it does, we forward the payment. We now pay the receiver's invoice. The receiver will hopefully release the pre-image. Then we can also settle the incoming. All right, settle the incoming route. And then everything worked, but of course, not everything works all the time. So now I will go through some, all the cases in which something could fail. First of all, the receiver could just fail to create an invoice. We would fail to wrap the invoice, like it just doesn't meet our requirements. The sender wallet could just not pay, so it would expire. Or when we actually try to pay the receiver's invoice, even though we also estimated the fees while wrapping, when we actually try to pay, we don't find a route, so we cannot forward the payment. So yeah, that can also fail. In which case we need to cancel the invoice. Or the receiver can, in the end, just not release the pre-image. And as far as I know, in that case, if they just never respond, then the channel will close their channel in the last hop. But basically, if you worked on the Lightning protocol, this should look familiar, because this is more or less implementing how Lightning nodes forward payments on the application layer. So we wrote that in JavaScript, the forwarding. Yes, I want to show how it looks when its payment failed. So I should have notification, or maybe not yet. It like takes 3 minutes. Or maybe later. But it's also not that important. Maybe F5. No. No, okay, 24 minutes. Okay, I was here. Right, so now about the challenges. So as I mentioned, the SAP amount, like when someone selects 100 sats in the user interface, this amount must pay for the forwarding fee to the receiver, because we don't want to be the one who pays for the forwarding fee, else they could just drain us by paying themselves. So I think it's called fee siphoning attack. And this is just a challenge for small amounts. Like if you just want to send a few sats, then probably we cannot pay the receiver because it would be like 50% of the amount. Also, to explain the whole wallet stuff, like that you have to attach a wallet. Originally, it also looked like this. So we set wallets, but then we actually showed them protocols like Lightning Address or Custodial Connect. So that was confusing. So even if they had a Lightning Address, they just didn't see their wallet here. So they had, like some people reached out, hey, I have Strike, can I attach my wallet? Yes, you have a Lightning Address. So go to Lightning Address. But yeah, it's just a wrong assumption to assume people know about these terms and know if their wallet supports it. So even if you find out how to attach a wallet, we still want to have these wallets available on all devices. Like you can use Slacker News on desktop, and also as a progressive web app on mobile. But you don't want to enter all your wallets into all of these devices, or the sending wallets. And the issue is that the sending wallet credentials, like how to pay for stuff, is stored encrypted on the server. So every device needs to be able to decrypt this data. So instead of entering all your credentials into each device, you just enter a passphrase into each device, and then all the devices can share the wallets. Since one is encrypted and the other one to receive credentials must be in plain text, so we can use them. We had to split the configuration between sending and receiving. That is also confusing because most users are used to just entering their wallet connection one time, and then they can send, and I think most clients then also just parse the Lightning address out. So they just do it once, but since we support more stuff, we have to have this split and also encrypt the stuff. Also, when you enter send credentials, how can we make sure they actually work without starting to pay for stuff? We had an idea before hold invoices, but that is still are looking into that. The other challenges are, as I mentioned, people need to know, or we are assuming too much knowledge sometimes, and that's why we switched from this one page where we mention protocols to just a page with wallets, even if they all just support a Lightning address. Other issue is now that our Lightning node is quite important. If it goes down, most of the site wouldn't work as is if everything would be a Lightning payment. And also normal Lightning network issues with liquidity. Like if some wallets are very popular, they sometimes run into liquidity issues. You cannot receive anymore, or you cannot send from them. So then, yeah, this balance between channels. Also, if you're non-custodial, it's not trivial to send to multiple receivers. If you're custodial, you can just do all of that in one transaction, one database transaction. But none of that matters if the user doesn't even have a Lightning wallet. So we wanted to fix that so they can use Slacker News without immediately requiring a Lightning wallet. So you can basically create a bio for free, and then when someone zaps you, you receive these credits if you don't edit a Lightning address yet. So instead of getting nothing when they get zapped and don't have a wallet, they at least get these credits that they can continue to use to pay for other stuff. So you can always pay Stacker News, like when you post or reply or pay for a territory, you can pay with credits. And yes, even if you have a wallet attached, receiving can still fail for many reasons, as I mentioned before. And in that case, we would rather give them credits instead of nothing. And some users actually don't even care that much about sats, because for them it's just small amounts that they don't matter that much to them. So they can just use Stacker News without caring so much about the Lightning Network. And the whole point of credits is that you cannot withdraw them. So some users asked us why don't we use eCash, and the difference is that eCash is meant to be withdrawable, and our credits are not. And yes, I already mentioned this. Every time you pay Stacker News, we first try to pay with credits in your account. And you can also still use the site without the Lightning Network in some degraded state. Like the degraded state is there are no sats involved. And these credits are also, like every zap actually, as I mentioned before, has a small Sybil fee, or the receiver gets less than the sender actually sends. And out of these 30%, 21% go to the territory founder and 9% go to rewards. And these rewards are paying out the best users every day at the end of the day, and we can pay them out as sats, because that is not money transmission. So basically, if someone has 100 credits and they zap someone, these 100 credits, then they receive 70. And if they then zap again someone, then that last one gets 49 credits. So more than half already turned into sats. Okay, I want to end the talk with most Bitcoiners are on custodial services. And also I want to thank Plebpoet for making me give her this talk a week ago so I can have feedback. Thank you.